Hi, I'm Mary Wong, author of Pathways to Pregnancy, and your registered traditional Chinese medicine practitioner and acupuncturist, founder of Alive Holistic Health and wellness coach. So today I'm really excited to have our guest with us. And actually, you already see her. I was going to have me on the screen, but apparently Kathryn Flynn is already in the picture. So welcome.
Thank you. So happy to be here with you, Mary.
Thank you for being on here. And let me introduce you. So, Kathryn Flynn is the author of the Cooking for Fertility cookbook. Can you show us the cookbook? You probably have it in front of you. Yes. Beautiful with avocado. And she's the founder of fertilefoods.com. Since 2005, she has been supporting women in fertility and healthy pregnancy nutrition consultations. Kathryn is also the creator of Moontime Tea for Women, a collection of herbal tea blends to support women's wellness at every stage of life. So to learn more about Kathryn, you can visit her website. What we'll do is we'll just put it up as a comment after the post, okay? Because right now we're live. So welcome. Thank you. Oh, are we cut out a little again? Okay, so guys, this is my live post number 77. And I'm excited. And we haven't done a recipe in a very long time. And it's time because I know you guys are always wondering, what the heck can I eat that's like gluten-free, dairy-free, and all that? And so I'm bringing on Kathryn here because she's the expert in this, as she's been helping women with recipes and nutrition. So tell us a little bit about why you wrote the cookbook.
Sure. Well, I've been working with fertility and nutrition since 2005, doing individual consultations. And one thing I found is that the women I was working with were having a really hard time putting the recommendations into real life. And I love cooking, but I'm not a gourmet chef by any means. So what I did is I compiled about 100 really simple recipes that met the criteria that we were looking for: gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, kind of the basics, and just really with a focus on making them easy to eat and easy to make and easy to get together to eat, because that's really a big deal. We have busy lives, so just being able to fit cooking into our lives in a way that's reasonable.
Absolutely, and that is the big difficulty. And you and I were talking in terms of, oh gee, what recipe should we utilize tonight? And I thought, well, mealtime, like dinner time, is I think the most difficult for people. So I really wanted you to do this. So I'm really glad that you're doing. What is your recipe tonight?
Right, so we're making simple rice bowls, and this is one of my favorite recipes because it's something you can pre-prepare in big batches on Sundays, which is one of my favorite tips to offer people. You can make 3 or 4 things in large batches, and then you can snack off them throughout the week for easy lunches. So,
oh, you're cutting out. I'm going to get you to repeat it in a second because you're cutting out. Can you say something right now? Uh-oh, you've really cut out. Are you still there, Kathryn? Okay, guys, I don't know why there's a technical issue. Oh, I think you're back.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Okay. All right, so continue.
So while I have the moment, what I was saying is we'll be making a rice bowl, because one of my favorite things is to pre-prepare ingredients on a Sunday, let's say, that we can then use as lunches and dinners for the rest of the week. And making a big batch of, say, a protein like beans or lentils, and then a gluten-free grain. My 2 favorite are quinoa and brown rice. That sets you up for having ingredients for a lot of different meals throughout the week.
Right.
So just to show you what I have here in terms of raw ingredients. So tonight I chose pinto beans. So here's what they look like raw. So with beans, the most important thing that you want to do is soak them the night before. So you would soak them in water overnight to get rid of some of the phytic acid, which helps them to be more digestible in the body. In my book, I talk about a lot of the different healing benefits of each of the beans and each of the grains. So you can also look at it that way for fun. And then in the morning, what you do is you drain out the water, and then you place it, you add more water about 2 inches above the beans in a pot. You bring it to a boil for 15 minutes, and you turn it down to simmer and cover until all the water is evaporated. And that could be about 40 more minutes.
And so when you're utilizing the beans, when you take that the soaking water and you strain it out,
yes,
you then also rinse the beans before you add in the new water?
Yeah, so you could do it in a colander, for instance, just to completely drain the beans, wash them off, thank you, and then pop them back in a pot, add about 2 inches of water over top. Sometimes I also add a little bit of seaweed or kombu to get in some of the extra minerals. And I'll tell you a little bit of a hack because, we don't always remember, for instance, to soak the beans overnight. So I have done it before, which is a quick boil method. When you bring it to a boil for 15 minutes, and then you let it sit for about an hour in the water, then drain and then cook. It's not the whole method, but we also have to be very practical about our time and what is possible. So then the grain's super simple. Tonight I'm using quinoa. I love quinoa because it's the grain with the most protein. Quinoa and brown rice are my two favorites. Brown rice is one of the most studied grains ever. And so here I have 2 cups of quinoa, and then you add 4 cups of water. So basically, rule of thumb with grains is twice the water to the grain. Put it all together in a pot, bring to a boil, immediately reduce to simmer, put the top on. Each grain's a little bit different. Quinoa is a little faster than brown rice. It'll take about 25 minutes till all the water's evaporated. So super simple, and those 2 can be made in big batches and then set aside. Then on the night that I want to do the rice bowl, or if I wanted to make it for a quick lunch, here, I'll just show you all my toppings here. Let's see can you see them, Mary, here?
Oh, I'm gonna get me out of the way.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I'm coming in with this. So tonight I like to think colorful when I do rice bowls, because when you think eating the rainbow, you make sure you're getting all the vitamins and minerals and everything you need. So I did the green spinach, which has the wonderful chlorophyll for fertility. I did the orange and red pepper, onion and garlic. So onion and garlic is a great tip for spring. When we're going into spring, we think a lot about the liver qi stagnation and that kind of stress and PMS. It's a time when that comes up a little more. So onion and garlic are really going to help to move that stagnation. And then mushrooms, which are wonderful for building immunity. So that's the combination that I chose tonight. It varies in an amount. So you should know when you're using whole spinach. This is about a cup right here, but I'll show you what that turns out to when you actually put it in the frying pan. And then of these ingredients in total, I would say that it's about a cup. And you can be liberal with your amounts, because you can always, again, set it aside or add extra veggies, which is always perfect.
So just to be clear, this is 1 serving.
This will be probably 2 servings.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I always think, so when I'm doing the veggies, when I'm preparing those fresh, these aren't made in big batch. This is just for the night of. So I'm assuming that I'm cooking for 2 here.
Right. But you could technically also, would you be okay, and will it keep in the nutrients if you cut and not necessarily cook the vegetables, for a couple of minutes?
Absolutely.
Oh, you're cutting out again. Wait, you're cutting out.
And could pre-chop the veggies.
Yeah.
That's another great way to make sure you're getting all the veggies, because they're pre-cut for you, and then you can pull them out and just saute or add them to smoothies as needed. I forgot my favorite topping here, which is our avocado. So we'll chop up and put some avocado. Everybody knows this was on the front of my cookbook. It has the monounsaturated fats. Fats are so good and so important for fertility, and we often well, not so much anymore. We hear a lot about them in the news of how good they are for us, but a lot of people that I've talked to in consultations over the last 10 years used to shy away from them because they feel like, the fat would make them fat. And as we know, and I love to share the tip that at Weight Watchers, oftentimes when people have plateaued with weight loss, they'll have them eat half an avocado a day, and that boosts them back over their plateau. So just really good to know.
That's a great tip. And why?
It's the good fats, because our bodies rely on fats. Our brain it needs fats. Our reproductive hormones are stored in our fats. So it's what helps our body operate properly. And it gets us past that kind of, if a lot of times what I see with people is they're not eating enough, and that's the trouble too with any dietary and lifestyle plans is we get so cautious about what we're eating, we feel like we can't eat anything at all. So I really like to focus on pleasure in diet and not so much what we're cutting out, but what we're adding back in, if that makes sense. So what are the great alternatives? Making sure we're eating, every 3 hours throughout the day. I don't know if you've seen that in your practice, but I think diet's an area where we can often feel a lot of restriction.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's a really great point. Oh, so I'm going to get myself out of the way so people can see your food and don't just hear my voice.
So this is basically about half a cup, 3/4 of a cup of cooked quinoa in here. With 1/4 of a cup to half a cup of cooked beans, and these are the pinto beans again. And I'm just going to show you. So I sauteed these veggies. Tell me if you guys can all see this here. So here's our sauteed spinach, our 2 colors of peppers, our onions and garlic, and our mushrooms. And I'm just going to gently add these on top. A lot of questions I get are what kind of oils to use. I am a little bit traditional. I love the taste of olive oil. Coconut oil is very popular.
Okay, we're cutting in and out again. So what you're saying is it's olive oil. You're still totally cut out, okay? And I hope that people can see me and hear me. So I'm back here and you're still frozen. So I'm just going to continue until you come back to life. And so your suggestion is to use olive oil. And when you come back, I think I would like to address one other thing, which is in terms of what should be organic. So you've got the beans, you've got the rice, you've got the quinoa, you've got spinach, peppers. Do all of them need to be organic? You're still frozen, so I'm not sure what should. This is the life of technology, guys. It doesn't necessarily work the way you want it to. Can you hear me okay? Oh, there you are. Okay, I see you again. Did you hear everything that I was saying, Kathryn?
I could hear you talking about the olive oil and the organic versus the conventional.
Yes. Okay, so we hear you now, so it's good. Go for it.
Generally, well, I have my chance. So generally, I like to buy everything organic, but there is a cost factor with that that needs to be considered. And so when you're trying to decide what to make organic and what to purchase conventionally, I rely on the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 8, which is a list that the government publishes every year. And for instance, the Dirty Dozen gives a list of the fruits and veggies that you should always buy organic no matter what. Okay, so these are the most pesticide-ridden. This is what's most important. And then the Clean 8 would be ones that they consider okay to buy conventional or organic. For instance, I believe this year avocados are on the list. So what they're saying is the pesticide residue doesn't make as much of a difference. So where I am adamant about 100% organic is with animal products, because we want to avoid the hormones that interfere with our own hormone pathways. So again, we want to do organic whenever possible. If it's not always possible, then that's kind of how I gauge what are the best choices and not. I'm just going to add our good fat on top of here.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one other thing. With these bowls, they're so versatile. So you can have this. I don't mind eating similar things too throughout the week, but depending how you flavor it, that can make it a really different meal. So for instance, you could create an Asian meal with this by using a gluten-free soy sauce. You could create a Mexican meal by using an organic salsa and in addition to the avocado. Sometimes when I make a huge batch of bone broth, I will pour bone broth over top
Uh-oh, you're cutting out again.
of soup.
Oh, okay, you've cut out again. So I'm thinking that you're adding the bone broth soup and you stick it directly in the bowl, so it's like a soup now instead. And let's see. In terms of, oh, you're back. Yay. I'm just like ad-libbing here.
I'll just get my very last thing. And so I love this Big Tree Coco Aminos. So a little bit like a Bragg's Aminos. It's a delicious topping for the rice bowls or something simple like this Trader Joe's Green Goddess dressing with avocado, green onion, lemon juice, chives, basil, and garlic. All to say it changes the flavor.
Sure. So are you adding these sauces after everything's all cooked then?
Yeah, these are all after everything's all cooked. So even if you're at a table with a couple people, you can kind of choose your favorite.
Right. Yeah. Can you display the sauces that you're using? Because it's hard to see. So if you can stick it right in front of the camera, that would be awesome.
So this is a new product, this Big Tree Coco Aminos. And this is the same company that also makes coconut sugars, which is my latest favorite, low glycemic baking product.
So is that one sweet then? Is that sauce sweet?
It's a little bit sweet, but not as sweet as you would think. They also have a coconut agave, a cocoa agave, which they say can be used kind of as a replacement for maple syrup, but I can guarantee you would not feel, it could be hidden in baking products, but it's definitely not as sweet as a maple syrup or even an agave syrup. So it's a little bit more like a Bragg's. And then this one is really wonderful. It's cleansing and it's got the avocado, green onion, lemon juice, chives, basil, and garlic. And you can really taste the lemon and garlic in this one. This is Trader Joe's, and do you guys have Trader Joe's in Canada?
So that's the problem. So in Canada, there is no Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
And so
but you have Whole Foods, and they have similar things to this. So this is just to say it's okay to find something off the shelf too. You don't always have to make every ingredient from scratch. And then the third thing was just a nice organic salsa if you wanted to make it kind of like a Mexican fiesta type meal.
Well, you know what? That is so great for you to say all this because I'll tell you, I am that person. It's like I have to make everything from scratch. And of course, when you're during the week and you don't have much time and you get home late, you don't have time to make all the sauces and stuff. So what you're creating there is so easy and so quick, especially when half of it is already prepped for you. So literally, it's going to take how long do you think to make that meal?
Oh, 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes, maybe 10 minutes if you've pre-prepared the ingredients. A little bit more if you're cooking the grains and the beans, but if you've already done that on the weekend, it's about 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
That's amazing. That's very inspiring because like I say, the last thing you want to do is feel like, oh, gee, here's another meal to go.
Yeah.
And so what if you have a little extra sauce that's not homemade? So I was like, oh, I have to make everything from scratch.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's really stressful, and that's kind of that perfectionist, I have to eat everything exactly perfect. I have to do everything exactly right. And that can actually work a little bit against us because pleasure with fertility is super important. Eating is something we do so many times during the day. And so that is something that should be enjoyable, even with the changes, is what my belief system is and the foundation of my consultations.
And it's really lovely. And so I really want to thank you for putting that to light and I'll tell you a funny little story. So today I had a patient come in and she was so hungry and she didn't have anything on her. So she says, I'm going to buy a snack. let's see if I can buy a healthy snack. So she's going around and she can't find anything. And she went to the grocery store to look for good organic fruit. And of course, it is Toronto winter and there's nothing local. And what she found that was organic was shipped from afar and brown. So, what do? The dilemma is, do you buy this awful thing that's going off, but
Right.
it's organic, or do you just forego it? So she just thought, well, I don't want to like get sick off of this, so I'm not going to do it. And then what she ended up doing was, so in Canada, there's a takeout place called Tim Hortons. I
Right.
don't know.
You know, I'm from Ottawa, right? So I'm Canadian.
Oh, okay. Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
She ends up buying one of those little mini, what do you call those things? Timbits. So they're basically donut, the middle of the donut. So she went from this thinking of, oh, gee, I need to have something really healthy. And when she couldn't get it, she resorted to something really, really bad. So it kind of cracked me up, right?
It's kind of the extreme, but it's like that too when you're traveling and you're at airports. That's why I tell people, find a bar you love or trail mix or something and have it in your purse for those moments. Inevitably, you can't find anything. And then there's also a really funny story, Mary, from when we used to do the Fertile Soul retreats. And I know that you've been to Randine's retreats too. And Dr. Deb Kern, she used to also lecture at the retreats, and we called it, that wasn't a Twinkie defense, but it's like if you're at an airport and all you can find is a Twinkie, you have to bless it, and eat it and move on, right? It's just one thing. This kind of concept of the 80-20 of, I allow myself to indulge. The thing is, though, the more healthy you become and the more in line and in balance you feel, those indulgences also naturally become more healthy. You'll find maybe a gluten-free donut, which I know they don't have at Tim Hortons, but I think that
no.
But those type of things, right? So if it's like this gluten-free chocolate chip cookie, that the indulgence becomes something that maybe isn't as impactful to you, that you don't feel as much.
Absolutely, yeah. And I say the exact same thing. It's like, well, if you're going to indulge anyway, you might as well not feel guilty and horrible while you're eating it, and just make it an orgasmic experience. That's it.
Exactly. I mean, there is always the case for dark chocolate, right? All of the relaxation hormones, the arginine that supports blood flow to the uterus and ovaries. So there's important to really find the things you love and make sure you do indulge. Make sure you don't make it, strict.
No, so I want to thank you for being on here and again enlightening us with the simplicity of cooking healthy and having it also be tasty by adding your own stuff and making it diverse, using different sauces. So you could literally have the same meal, but it'll taste quite different 3 days in a row by adding, using different sauces. So that's fantastic. So I hope that helps you guys out there watching. I hope you'll make it. And so thank you again for being here. And you're cutting out again. I know you hear me, but I want to thank you for being here. I'm going to just put it on me for a moment. And so thanks again for watching. So I would love to have you join me next Wednesday evening. And gosh, in this moment, I don't know what it is, but it'll always be something great. So tune in next time. And oh, you're back. So I'm going to get you back in here. And can you show us your book again so people can see right in front of the camera?
Let me hold it out. I know that there's copies available on Amazon. The first edition sold out, and but we're still going to have it up as a downloadable book.
That's awesome. So Cooking for Fertility, everyone. So please get that because it's awesome. And I've known you actually since the early days of Fertile Soul. So yeah. I've met you then. So it's really great to connect with you again. All the best to your book, and I think you're doing an amazing job. And so everyone, thank you for being here, and I will look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can pick up my book, Pathways to Pregnancy. And by the way, I announced this last time, but I will be very soon launching a little online monthly live webinar, I'll call it a live webinar, in which, because I know oftentimes people don't like to click like on my live Facebook posts because of privacy reasons, not wanting your friends to find out who you are and what you're up to and what you're watching. So this will be an excellent opportunity to join this conversation and directly interact with me. Well, what I'll do is I'll lecture the first half, and then the second half you have the opportunity, and we'll do a Q&A, okay? So that'll be coming up within the next month or so. I'll keep posted for that, but join me next Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thanks again for being here with us, Kathryn, and we'll see you later. Take care, guys. Bye.